Hey everybody, welcome back. Another day, another bridezilla freak out. Just another day. All right, today we got a doozy of a story from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube Reddit thread. The post is by Ms. Gadget. Am I the a-hole for essentially being myself and doing exactly what the bride asked, knowing it would backfire on her? A little malicious compliance in the morning with your coffee and your tea. All rise for the Honorable Judge Charlotte. I'm supposed to be maid of honor tonight for a wedding. Oh, you posted this 3 days ago. Oh, okay. My husband is the best man and we've been friends with this couple for a long time. The problem is now I'm being kicked out for being black and my husband wants to step down as best man because of it, and that's causing a whole thing. I mean, I would say that that's not what's causing the whole thing. I would say that it's you being kicked out because you're black that's causing the thing. You didn't cause the thing by being black. I'm just saying. To clarify, because it's important, the bride is not racist in any way. Okay, confusing. In fact, it was her desire to treat everyone the same and refusing to listen that caused the problem. My skin color is the issue, but not because she has a problem with it overall, but just because she didn't realize that my skin would make a dress look different on me than on others. Okay. She had this vision for her wedding forever, apparently. Her bridesmaids' dresses are nearly identical to her wedding dress in style, except a different color. And on the bridesmaids' dresses, the detailing stops at the waist, and they are not laced up in the back. My dress of maid of honor is an exact carbon copy of hers, just in another color. Here's where it gets to be a mess. She picked this color the company calls morning gray for her bridesmaids' dresses. Morning gray, for anyone wondering, is like a soft pastel gray that's about a shade of white. Okay, morning gray. This morning gray, that's morning gray. Yeah, it's pretty close to white. Pretty close to white. On the other bridesmaids, the dress absolutely looks gray. A very soft, very ethereal gray, but a gray nonetheless. All the other bridesmaids are also white. I'm not. I am not only black, but as I've been to the beach for another wedding this year already, I'm darker than I normally am. Well, against my skin, the dress undeniably looks white. Okay, so we're saying like the contrast of the dress on your skin makes it look white. Ergo, she doesn't want someone else looking like they're wearing a white, identical wedding dress to her wedding. Okay. Like, the only way you can tell mine is actually gray is if I'm standing directly next to the bride and the dresses are side by side. Then you can see mine is slightly gray and hers isn't. Now, the bride ordered all of these dresses and picked the color herself. Like, didn't you try the dress on? Like, was there not a moment where you went to like a fitting to like try the dress on? That's why we have like fittings for these types of things.
You know?
I tried to tell her she should order mine in a darker shade of gray because I've been down this road before where I've been accused of wearing white at a wedding because a dress I wore looked white in the sunlight, even though it wasn't. My skin makes clothing look lighter. She insisted that she had a cousin try it on and the color was perfect and you could easily tell it was gray. Was her cousin black? Like, I tried to explain to her that her cousin is the color of printer paper. Seriously, she's deliberately chosen vampire aesthetic and she avoids the sun as much as possible and wears super high SPF sunblock anytime she's outside because she wants to be as pale as possible. And that it would look different on me, but she was unwilling to have her vision modified. Oh me, oh my. Oh me, oh my. I just kind of think it's weird, like, that you're so adamant about having gray dresses at your wedding, like gray dresses that look exactly like your dress as a bride. Isn't that, like, I don't know. Interesting choice. Okay, it's your wedding. You do whatever the hell you want, honey, but it's just an interesting choice to fight for. I mean, you're kind of at the point where you can't really change it, but like, okay. Now she's pissed at me because even though it's clear hanging with the other dresses that mine is the same color as the other bridesmaids, she's decided the only option is to kick me out of the wedding so I don't upstage her. Because the dress she insisted on makes me look like a bride too. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh me, oh my. Oh, this is funny.
This is so funny.
Oh man. However, she wanted to give my dress to one of the other bridesmaids, which I said I was fine with as soon as she reimbursed me the money for it. $350 compared to the rest of the bridesmaids, who paid about $125. Then one of the bridesmaids promptly pointed out that none of them could even wear my dress. I'm not huge, but I am incredibly top heavy. I wear a 34H bra. Sorry, I kicked you there. Didn't mean to, I swear. I'm just wearing really big slippers. You wanna see? A little unaware of where my feet are at the moment. Give me a second. Sorry, I needed to adjust myself at that 34H. Which is part of why my dress was so much more expensive than the other bridesmaids. The other part being extra detailing. So none of the other bridesmaids would be able to keep my dress, even if the lacing was pulled as tight as it would go. So now she's decided I've ruined her perfect wedding. Well, no. This is why we have fittings. Especially if you're very particular about what you want at your wedding. You need to be trying things on before. You wouldn't show up to your wedding not having tried on your wedding dress, would you? Okay, same thing goes for everyone else if you're being picky, which you're allowed to be, okay? You're allowed to be picky at your wedding, but we gotta make sure everything fits. I find it odd that you were able to get the 34H fit. Like, it was probably custom and like altered, but like we didn't think about the color in that moment. She screamed at me and told me that I'm not only not in the wedding, but she doesn't even want me to attend as a guest. Okay, are we sure she's not like racist? I don't like, I'm sorry. That's ridiculous, dude. Which pissed off my husband because she was warned. I even sent her a photo of a dress I wore that was almost the same color to a different wedding. And B, because he doesn't want to attend a wedding we traveled for without me. And he thinks it's bullshit she insisted on the dress color. The groom is upset because if I'm not there, my husband says he isn't coming because he's not leaving me in a hotel room for hours by myself while everyone else celebrates and parties. So now the bride says we're ruining everything and the others in the bridal party think I should just do what she wants because it's her day. Just ends with okay, like obviously you're not the a-hole. I don't really know what to do in this scenario though. Like, it's not that she made the mistake of like not realizing that your skin tone would make the dress look white. It's that she's somehow mad at you. That's the Delulu bridezilla part. Okay, so here's some like suggestions in the comments. I don't know if this would ever happen to somebody else, but like it might. Ha ha ha, the describing the cousin's skin tone as printing paper is funny. Why can't she have you in a different colored dress? Some brides do that for their maid of honors. That's what I'm thinking, because it's like maid of honors usually have like, you know, something else, like either a different colored bouquet or a different colored dress to signify that they are the maid of honor. Just dye it or some yeah, you could do that, or like maybe you could like add some embroidery detailing on it. Like it's kind of, like the wedding is, what did you say, like tomorrow? Tonight. It's tonight. So this is already passed. It's kind of like, At this point, you don't have a lot of options, but like maybe even like a shawl or something over the dress to signify that you're like different than the others, and maybe that might like offset. I don't know, man. That's her fault. Like literally her fault. This is why you plan ahead and you have fittings and you try on different colors. That's an extreme overreaction on her part, especially since you warned her. You did. You fully told her. You showed her pictures. It's like, dude, just so you know, this is what this is gonna look like. You're clearly close since you're her maid of honor. So you think she'd trust what you look like in a certain color, but Bridezilla clearly lost her marbles. I'm thinking you dodged a bullet on this one, and hubby will too once he dips, but there has to be other solutions than straight kicking you out. If you really want to stay in it, ask her if she can find someone to dye the dress. If she's amenable to you, have a different shade. Yeah, but we've like been through this. She doesn't want that, right? Like she wants it her way. It's like, I mean, it's her wedding. If that's what she wants, it's what she wants, but she also doesn't need to be a freaking dick about it. Why are you not even allowed to go to the wedding now? Like, I don't understand why she's mad at you because of the color of your skin and her stupid decisions. I seriously wonder what went through the bride's mind when OP clearly and straightforwardly told her about the problems that will rise. I don't blame OP's husband for essentially backing out of the wedding because that bride is a bridezilla at this point. It's like, how can you really marry someone who's this delulu? And how can you support the marriage of someone that's this delulu? I wish you well. Like, get some therapy first. But I wish you well in hell. Anyways, I agree with the top post. You can't just dye the dress and make it a bit darker. Essentially not quote unquote staging the bride on her day, even though it was all her fault to begin with. I would cut my losses and just ditch the whole wedding because A, the bride essentially did not take into account your perfectly reasonable flights and warnings, but still turned around to blame it on you, even though you cautioned her about the whole thing. And it doesn't seem like a worthwhile event to go to now, seeing she's essentially acting so mean. I say ditch the wedding and go out with your husband and celebrate the love you guys have. That's not the worst idea in the world. In fact, it's a rather good one. Okay, I don't want to excite you, but I do at the same time. We have an update. Thank you for keeping us updated, Ms. Gidget. Let's get to it. So, yesterday I posted about my friend's wedding last night and the fact that she kicked me out of her wedding and refused to let me attend as a guest and wanted to make me give up my maid of honor dress because it looked white on my dark skin and she felt she was being upstaged as the bride. I tried to say she wasn't racist, but people on here told me I was being intentionally naive and you were right. I told you! Like literally, are we sure she's not racist? So were those of you who said she did this deliberately. Oh, that's an interesting take. Oh, okay. She is both racist and absolutely delusional, which is why she's single instead of married today. Yes! That's what I like to hear. Delicious! Delectable! Yesterday after I posted, things got ugly and the groom called everything off. God, I love being right. Like, I love it. How can you marry someone this delulu? Like, how? Every bride is allowed to get, like, a little bit stressed out. You know, everybody, it's a lot. Planning an event is a lot. I've had, you know, breakdowns when I've had to plan events and they weren't even weddings, okay? Like, we're allowed to have a breakdown if we're planning a wedding. It is a very stressful thing. But, like, not like this. This is just, you're just being a dick. I took your guys' suggestion and initially offered to dye the dress. Since I was the only person not getting my hair done, my hair has been damaged more than once by stylists who don't know how to handle the texture, so I'm very limited in who I will let do it, and instead usually do it myself. The groom thought this was a great idea and even offered to pay for the stuff needed to dye it and let me use his parents' place to do it. While he went to go talk to his parents, though, she nixed that because then I would stand out even more. She's your maid of honor. Girl, what is wrong with you? So I asked what she meant by stand out even more, and a whole lot of truth came out. Apparently, she initially hadn't wanted me in the wedding at all, but her ex-fiance is one of my oldest and best friends, and my husband was one of hers. That's why we introduced them to each other in the first place, because we thought they would hit it off, and they did. Anyway, because my husband is the closest thing she has to a sibling, she really wanted him to be the man of honor at their wedding. And initially, until ex-groom said that he was fine with it and would just have me as the best woman, so things would look balanced and two men didn't have to walk down the aisle or whatever. She really didn't like that, so they decided to switch us. No big deal. Except apparently it was, because I'm the only person of color in the whole wedding party and one of the very few who will be at the wedding at all. And I'm gonna stand out in every single picture. So? Like literally so? I asked, what about the groom's parents? The groom is white, but he's adopted by a black couple and is quite close to both his biological and adoptive parents. But if you ask who his parents are, he always says the people who raised him. Her theory was that his biological parents would be in the pictures, not his adoptive parents. Well, when the groom came back and heard this, he flipped out. And then she said the dumbest thing she could have said. Apparently, quote,
"It's not his fault he had no control over who adopted him.
And the picture should just be, quote,
real family."
Ooh! Ooh! Well, at that point, the groom had heard enough and told her they were his real family. And he couldn't believe she would say that. She was not the person he thought she was, and he was not marrying her.
It's great. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. It's good.
She gets pissed and tell him he's being ridiculous. Oh, interesting choice of words, bestie. Interesting, we can gauge when other people are being ridiculous, but we don't have any self-awareness to when we are being ridiculous. His parents can be in some of the photos and they will take some without. No. He tells her again that he's in no way, shape, manner, or form marrying her after what he heard. In fact, he wants nothing to do with her. She gets upset and says, well, she's at least going to have fun at the reception. He reminds her that he and his parents paid for everything, including the reception, and she's not welcome, and he will be informing security of that fact. The bride runs off and tells her parents what he's saying and doing, so they come out guns blazing. But apparently she didn't give them all the facts, because when he laid it out for them, they were appalled. Ain't that always the truth? People that are being unreasonable, they always sugarcoat everything. You know, they don't say everything, right? It's like, why did you have a falling out? You guys were so close.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's not what I heard.
Nobody wants to admit they're a delusional a-hole, because that would mean taking responsibility for your actions and how you treat people. Her father literally tore her a new one, talking about how she was not raised that way and couldn't believe this was the person she had become. They apologized to the groom, offered to pay for half the wedding, and they left with their daughter. Shame on you. Shame. You go to your corner. So we spent the afternoon with the groom, several of the bridesmaids, and all the groomsmen, who were all equally shocked by her behavior. I'd say we were consoling the groom, but we weren't. He was too busy ranting about how he dodged a bullet. No, bestie, he dodged like a big bazooka. Bullet doesn't nearly cover it. Last night we went to the reception, partied until like 3 a.m. and had a great time. As for the dress, I have an event later this summer and I'm gonna dye the dress and wear it for that.
Period.
That's what's up. That's what I like to hear. Oh goodness, what a lovely story. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh my God, a happy ending after all. Geez, the not wanting black people in her wedding photos summons a rage in me. I'm not an angry person, but this is just, ugh. She's a loser. I'm glad the groom didn't end up marrying her. I feel vindicated somehow. I do. Honestly, this healed something in me. Knowing that there's people who treat others badly, end up getting exactly what they deserve, really makes me happy, because there's nothing worse than knowing that someone treats you like shit and they still get everything that they want. Karma never comes for them. At least it doesn't look like karma ever comes for them, you know. It just feels so good to know that there is some justice in the world. It's one thing to have a vision of your wedding. It's another to go completely insane and be an a-hole over different colors of skin and how they'll stand out. Well, they wouldn't if you weren't a complete racist a-hole. Listen, bestie, it's your wedding. There is no way in hell that like anyone can upstage you on your day, okay? Like there's people who can try to upstage you, but no one can upstage you unless you let them. Just sounds like friggin' racism to me. She just sounds racist. And like secretly envious of what you look like, honestly. Imagine thinking that someone just existing is upstaging you. Ugh, brother, ugh. Yes, that groom didn't dodge a bullet. He dodged a cannonball. Even her parents were mad at her, which is a nice twist of fate. That was the part that honestly made me like really unreasonably happy. Like, ooh, you're in trouble. Your parents mad, your daddy's mad at you. Damn right they are. Cause that's embarrassing. Alrighty guys, don't forget to join the Charlotte Dobre YouTube Reddit thread. Share your stories, upvote, downvote, comment on other people's stuff. Love reading it, it's so enjoyable.
Subscribe.